Happy Friday, everybody. Happy 1 week into November. Gosh, I can't believe time is going so fast. And what's super awesome is here in the beautiful state of South Dakota, we have always the weirdest, craziest weather. You never know what to expect in November. But it's been a spectacular November already for us. We've had amazing weather. And for us, 50s, actually some 60s. Now, tomorrow we are expecting a little bit of snow, but that's part of what I love it, especially when I have tons of Christmas decorations up. Snow's okay. Now, come January, I would like it to go, but that's when we have the most. Um, Okay, so this morning I've just been praying, okay, God, what do you want me to share? How can I help you guys grow not only in your business, but also just in life? Because the more we grow as a person, the more we dig into even what God says and how to live our life, it has a massive ripple effect on everything, including our business. And that's what I love is that we can take all these different things that we're learning and we can apply it to everywhere. So I want to talk about intention today. I want to talk about the power of living a life of intention, the power of walking it out. And as we do that, everything begins to shift, including your business, including your personal life, including relationships, all of it, because you start living with intention. One of the I've really been digging into the book of Ephesians. It is just such a powerful book. And so I encourage you guys, if you have not read Ephesians, read it. Spend some time in Ephesians. It's just the entire book is just powerful, right? So in Ephesians, there's a couple spots that I want to hit on, and then I'll lead it into the power of living with intention. Ephesians 5, 16 says, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. Therefore, do not let foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. You guys, right there, God is saying you need to make every opportunity count. You need to live with intention to actually see things shift in your life. So if you want to be successful in your business, you have to be intentional. You cannot be doing it just halfway, like, maybe it's going to work out. I'll message a few people here. I'll message a few people there, and we'll see what happens. If you're struggling and you're not growing the way you want, you need to shift and add intention to it. You need to make the most of every opportunity. And I love that because, again, if we relate it to our business, every opportunity means conversations, means reaching out to people, means being intentional in what you have and just in that. And it's not, when I talk about even just the business side of things, I always want to look at the bigger picture because I know that most of us, this is a part-time thing. This isn't a full-time gig. This is a part-time gig. So when I even talk about this, I want you to keep in mind two things. One, I want you to keep in mind Trinot and how does this impact Trinot? But I also want you to keep it in mind in whatever other jobs you are doing. What other job are you working on? Are you in, and are you walking that out with intention? God does not say, hey, you know what? The jobs that you like, I want you to make the most of every opportunity. If you don't like your job, you can just, be lazy and just sit there and do nothing. He doesn't say that. He says, making the most of every opportunity. So any place that you are in, you need to make the most of it. You don't get the excuse, you don't get to check out on one and check in on the other. Every area of your life, you need to make the most of the opportunity. You need to live with intention. He also then says in Ephesians 6:7, serve wholeheartedly, as if you were serving the Lord, not men, because you know that the Lord will reward everyone for whatever good he does, whether he is slave or free. Serve wholeheartedly. What makes those that follow Jesus different than the rest of the world is because we need to live by this standard, that we live wholeheartedly in whatever we do. There is no like separation of what, okay, this side, I don't need to do that very well, but this side, I'm going to do really well. He's saying everything you do, you need to be serving wholeheartedly. You need it to be living with intention. It is such a game changer when you begin to take that and you begin to dial it in every single area of your life as you walk it out. One thing I've experienced is how in even just the going to the gym, when I'm at the gym now, I will say sometimes I get a little distracted because I do go with my mom and my sister and we have some other friends. So sometimes I get a little distracted. But I also then I have to go and remind myself, okay, I am here and I need to be intentional with my time. I need to dial it in and really focus on it because I don't want to just waste my time. And I was at a meeting last night. I'm on a helping to recruit foster parents for the state of South Dakota. And I've been in this committee for a couple of years, and it's not really gone many places. It's sort of been circling. And last night we met in person, and there was a group of 5 of us. And I said, here's what we need to be doing. In order to change things, we have to be intentional with what we're doing. We have to make sure that everything that we are doing lines up with the purpose of why we are here. But do you see how in order to live with intention, you have to have an end in sight? You can't walk out intention haphazardly. You have to have an end goal. So in order to get to that intention, in order to live with that intention, what are you working towards? So now it goes back to this. In order to serve wholeheartedly, in order to walk out intention, you have to know your purpose. You have to know your why. Why are you doing all that you're doing? And here's the cool thing. Even last night in this meeting for foster parents, we were able to talk about how becoming a foster parent can line up with a person's purpose. Everything that you do needs to line up with your bigger purpose, your calling on your life. When you are even, and Renee, I'm going to pick on you because you are such a rock star. When I think of how you work so hard full time at your job, and you pour into people on your team, you pour into customers, you do all this stuff. You live it with such intention. What you post in your reels is to help people get healthy. You know the purpose that you have and you walk it out. Even in your current job, you still work hard at it. You are still intentional with it while still growing another business. And you can see that shift that begins to occur. And I could say this on so many of you, of watching the transformation happen when you take a life that was just floating through. Now you're living with intention. Now you're finding your purpose and you are letting it drive you. It changes everything when you're doing that. But they have to go together. You can't just do one or the other to really make things work. So how do you live with intention? How do you serve wholeheartedly? How do you go back to making the most of every opportunity? How do you do that? It can start so small, you guys. It can start so simple, but it has to start somewhere, right? You have to start somewhere. It can be for you, it could be getting up a half an hour earlier to change how your day plays out. If your day starts off yucky because you don't have enough time to get the things accomplished, because you don't have enough time to do what you need to do, then you need to get up earlier. It's one of the things that God really convicted me on, because for a while I was like, God, I don't have time to really spend time with you. I'm too busy. Wow, that was a ridiculous thing to say, right? And so then what does he say? Alesha, you need to just get up earlier. You need to get up earlier. Really? I already get up at 5 a.m. You need to get up earlier. But my purpose is so much greater. And so I'm walking it out with intention. And so I am willing to say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get up earlier because I have that bigger goal. So if you're struggling in how do I get things all done? Because you're not living with intention and you're not focusing on your purpose. Again, I look at, for me, I go to work out at the gym at 5:30 in the morning, because if I don't do it in the morning, I'm not going to do it. Like, I know me, I'm not going to go. But it is so important for me to be in good health. It is so important for me to really be able to be active. And now, especially since I'm a grandma, just so you guys know, I've not put it on Facebook yet because I'm giving it a few more days, but I'm officially a grandma as of last Sunday. So, and she's perfect. Oh my goodness, she's so perfect. Oh, she's, but I want to be healthy for her. I want to be healthy for my kids. I want to be active. And I know how it helps me to feel, right? The more I go to the gym. So my purpose is bigger, and that's what's driving me. That's what's pushing me in to go, okay, I'm going to do it, even though I don't want to do it. Even though, like this morning, I just so desperately wanted to text my trainer and be like, I'm not coming in. You would think after 7 years, it would get easier, but it doesn't. But my intention is driving me, not what I'm feeling at the moment, not that immediate how, oh, I don't want to do it. No, that's not what controls me anymore. Right? So I want you guys over this weekend to be so intentional on looking at what is your purpose, and evaluating, why am I not getting there? What's holding me back from getting to my purpose? And I will tell you, probably one of the biggest things is because you're not walking it with intention. You are just haphazardly living through life, hoping it all comes together, hoping that, you know what, it'll all just flow together. Well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but if you look at what the Bible says, you have to live and make most of every opportunity, and you have to serve wholeheartedly. Right there, it is telling you that you cannot just live and just go with the flow all the time. It's not going to work. Things are not going to shift in your business. Things are not going to shift in the relationships with your family or your spouse or your kids or your friends if you are not intentional. Now, you might experience a little change, but it's not going to be big. So, living with that intention. For me, one of the biggest things that I've really been also doing is I'm starting my day off saying, God, I give you today. Let me be wise and let me walk out what you're asking of me in boldness. Angela, yeah, you would say that. What if I'm intentional with going with the flow? You would say that. And here's the thing. There's a difference. Here's what I think. Here's my thought on this. I'm talking it out loud as I go. You can be a person that is at ease, that is not high strung, and still intentional. I think oftentimes we think that in order, like the people that go with the flow, they're the ones that, it's just because they're just at peace with things. Guess what? I am intentional and I am still crazy at peace. And I'm still going with the flow on things because I'm trusting the Lord in it. But I shifted it. It wasn't like, because I went from being very, very high strung when I was younger and into my early 20s. And then God decided, Alesha, I'm going to give you twins. And then you are very quickly going to lose all control. And I joke about it is God knew I needed twins as my first set of my first little kiddos, because I had to very quickly go, I can't control it. I'm going to probably have at least one baby crying at one time. Like I can't control two babies at once. And so very quickly had to learn to give up control. But then what happened is then I almost went on, in some areas, I went on this whole pendulum swing, and I went from being very, very controlling to I just got to go with the flow. I just got to go with the flow. And I thought that that's where the peace came in. And then I'm not as high strung. But here's the thing. It's either way, it's still a control. You're still going to try to control things. So if you recognize that you can live with intention and purpose and give God the control in it while you're so serving wholeheartedly, that's where the shift begins to occur. I am very intentional, but I'm not stressed out. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not, even if they come up, and this is the coolest thing I'm experiencing over and over again. An example would be, as my husband and I are really now getting into the nitty gritty of this development that we're doing, we got a bid back on the bridge that we need to put in. And what we were told initially by our engineer would be about a $30,000 thing. We got a bid back for $200,000. Now, in that moment, I could have done one of two things. I could have just ignored it and said, I'm just going to go with the flow and I'm going to ignore it. Or I could have gotten really stressed out about it and tried to control the whole situation. Instead, I lived with intention. I said, you know what, God? Yes, I'm a little panicked. Yes, I'm a little freaked out. But God, I choose that you are my peace. I choose to give you the control of it. And I surrender it to you. End of story. End of story. Now, in this, here's where the part of intention comes in, is in it, my husband, who's just been a rock star in this process, is like, whoa, wait a second. This doesn't line up. And so he's going back to the engineer and he's saying, whoa, okay, what you're now saying we need is coming up at 200,000. What's off? And he's digging into it. So we're still going, God, we trust you in the flow of it, but we're being intentional to dig deeper into it. But then in that, we're walking in the peace because of it. Do you see that difference? There's like this really powerful difference that occurs when you begin to walk with intention because you're trusting God in the process as well. And this shifts everything. Intention, purpose, trusting God in it, going with his flow and trusting him in it and living in that peace. In the mass chaos, I still have this crazy peace because I'm claiming it. So that's part of the intention. So I'm saying, God, what can I do today? How can I walk out today? How can I be intentional? Like yesterday, I had a couple appointments and one got canceled. And man, every part of me wanted to be like, I would just like to go take a nap, please. I just want to go lay in bed and watch some Hallmark Christmas movies because that's the time of year for me because I have Christmas decorations up, right? And then I had to go back to, no, hold on. What's my intention today? What's my goals for today? What am I doing today? What did I set out to do today? And I need to go back to that. Here's the really cool thing. And actually, my friend David's on here too. Check this out. One of my goals yesterday, he and I talked about yesterday morning, is to get our LLC officially going for the purpose effect. Boom, did it. Because it was intentional. I could have checked out and I could have watched some Hallmark films. Actually, no, I'm going to be totally honest. I did have some Hallmark movies going on my second screen. So that was my compromise. I still watched a couple Hallmark movies, but not in my bed. So I got things done and I still rewarded myself. It was great. It was so much fun. I love those cheesy Hallmark films. But not only that, here's the really cool thing, is in that I even dug a little bit deeper and I worked a little bit more on things and I got even more accomplished because I chose to live with intention. So how does this play out into things like Trinot? How does this make a difference in Trinot? This month, we have insane deals, right? We have insane deals, 15 to 50% off of products and free enrollment and free travel activation when you enroll. These are huge, right? Like these are really big things. So if If you have come into Trinot thinking, okay, I want to make a difference, I want to grow my business, I want to shift things, and you are not messaging people and you are not posting about it and you are not reaching out, you're missing the intention part. This isn't just going to grow on its own. Gosh, how I would love for it to do that, but it doesn't. You have to walk it out with intention. You have to take the time to message people. You have to take the time to be consistent on your posts. You have to walk it out serving wholeheartedly. It's such a game changer, right? So this month, I know for me now, here's what I work best with is I have a daily DMO where I post a reel and make a post every day, minimum every day. I also try to really get in my stories. I'll go a few days where I gap out a little bit, but I really, really, really try to be very consistent in there as well. So those are my must do every day. Now, what I have found for me personally is I'm not always in the mood to message every single day. I don't want to do it every day. So here's what I do. Instead of saying, well, I didn't message today, so I just give up then. I know that I'm going to hit a moment where I'm in the groove. And when I feel that, I am very intentional to seize that moment. I don't let that moment come and I don't let it pass by without doing something. So if you in that moment go, I think I'm ready to message people, do not say, let me see if that moment passes, because it will pass. I promise you, it will pass. That moment will pass. And it might be really fast. It might be so fleeting. So you have to seize the moment. And this is where living with intention, so oftentimes, like I said, even this morning, going to the gym, I so easily could just keep hitting snooze and just ignore that. I feel, okay, I need to get up, and I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up. And in that moment, you have a choice. In that moment, you've been given an opportunity. I get to go to the gym, or I get to stay in bed. It's not, I have to go to the gym. I don't have to go to the gym. I get to go to the gym. And I get up and I do it. When you feel that energy, okay, I got this. I'm going to make some messages. You get to message people because you get to be a part of changing people's lives. You get to be a part of something bigger. But you have to choose it. Every step of intention requires you walking it out. Seize that moment. Do not let it pass you by. So then when I'm in that groove and I'm like, okay, I'm going to message people, I will tell you, I message people like crazy. Like for me, I'm in that groove. I do like 50. And man, the voice texts are so much fun right now. Like one of them I did the other day, when we launched the sale, I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. We just launched Black Friday. And here's the thing. I had Christmas set up before Halloween. So I like Ternot got the message to celebrate early. So yes, I think I influenced Ternot because I set up for Christmas. And now you got to get in on the sale. And it's really fun because then I had a lot of people like messaging me back, like, oh my goodness, you set up Christmas decorations. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And it was amazing. Right? So doing those and switching it up, being intentional that when I do those 50, especially the voice text, I forwarded some, but I actually intentionally just messaged everybody like individually. As long as there's different messages, like you can usually, I think it's like max like 10 to 12 roughly that you can do the same message, and then you better switch it up or you're going to go to Facebook jail. You don't want to do that. I mean, it's sort of a rite of passage to do like once, but if you keep doing it, then that means that you're not being very smart. But doing like the voice text, letting people know how excited you are. Denise, you do know 50 people. You just got to be intentional in reaching out to them, right? Right? There's billions of people on Facebook. Part of living with intention is seeing the opportunities in front of you, not the hurdles, not the things that are going to keep you back, but seeing what opportunities lie in front of you. Going back to this foster parent meeting last night, one of the things that I think has kept us really stuck over the last couple of years as we meet and nothing gets accomplished is we get so stuck on how this system is so broken. I don't know where it is. I think it's broken across the country, but South Dakota, it's really broken. It's a very broken system. And you see it over and over again. I've fostered 11 kiddos. My mom has fostered over 400. We've adopted through it. So it's a very broken system. And what happens is then you get so caught up in just how, it's so frustrating. Like, how is it ever going to change? And last night we said, here, we're going to switch it to a privilege. It is a privilege to be a foster parent. So instead of looking at all the hurdles in our way, we started our meeting with prayer. We said, God, give us wisdom, help us be wise, give us revelations, and really help us to see it and to think creatively. Because you guys, God knows everything, right? So why wouldn't we ask the Creator to say, God, open my mind to see what's out there? And it was literally in that conversation that we went, this is a privilege. We're changing the narrative. Instead of looking at the negative, we've decided to change the narrative and go, this is a privilege. And now we're moving forward in it. So whenever you come up to what you think is a hurdle, choose, do you get stopped by that hurdle? Or do you say, no, I'm not going to do that. My intention is greater than this hurdle. My purpose is so much bigger. I'm going to move past it. But oftentimes what happens is we come up to that hurdle and we go, oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes the hurdle is only like 2 inches tall, you guys. Like literally all you have to do is just lift up your foot and step over it. But you let that hurdle knock you out. You let that little thing come up and say, sorry, can't do it. I can't, like an example would be when my kids are, when they come home sick from school. Okay, guess what? Now I can not have to work today because I got to hang out with my sick kid. Or instead, do one of two things. Actually, I do both these at the same time. I go, part of the privilege of what I do is I have the flexibility to be with my kids. So I get to soak up that moment. I get to be with them. I get to be intentional with them. So that's one of the things that I do, and I'm very intentional with that. But then I also go, okay, guess what? I still also have a job that I get to do wherever I'm at. And so I get to show my kids the power of being intentional, the power of not letting things come in your life that's so easy to derail you. And I think that's what we do often, you guys, is we come up with excuses to derail us from moving forward. What excuses are you using to say, see, that's why I'm not going to do it. This is why I'll never succeed at anything I do. This is why nothing will ever change. It will stay the same over and over and over again. I'll tell you, if nothing is changing in your life, if it's the same thing day after day after day, it's the choices you're making or not making. The only changes that really need to occur in your life to shift everything is living with intention. And it changes everything. It's not easy. In fact, there are times it's hard. But it's not the powerful thing with that. And it always goes back to just switching perspectives on things, you guys. The situations are not always going to change, but it's how you choose to look at it that changes. And this is what's really, really powerful, is that when you just switch perspectives and you look at everything as an opportunity, you look at everything as a privilege. even in the really hard things, you go, God, thank you for letting me go through this and the privilege of experiencing this. Because in it, oftentimes the hardest situations, the ones that just want to break you, are the ones that you get to experience God even more powerfully because you have to trust him. You have to lean on him. You have to truly surrender it. And that is so exciting. So I never look at anything as a negative anymore. I intentionally look at it as a positive and a growth opportunity. It's so powerful. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's all I got. I think that's it. Okay, so here's what I would love is to hear from some of you on what are you doing. And you can do it, we can do, if you want to share what you're doing just in your personal life to live with intention, what you're doing that's working for you business-wise, whatever you want to share, I would love to hear it. Renee.
Hey there. I absolutely love on like every single call you talk about intention because that's truly what it's about. And for me, the intention for me started with my health, of course. Like you know that I had I'm like I had bariatric surgery. I lost over 200 pounds. It's important for me to continue those healthy habits, and I've set the tone because of the intention that I've made for my life. Um, And my focus and goal is to show people that you don't have to struggle because I struggled for so long. And those are the conversations that I have on the daily with people. And that's how I've built these connections that I've had because I continue to share that. Like even before my business, I was sharing my journey. Um, and people connect with me in that way. Um, and I'm already having conversations with the sale that's going on. Like I'm following up with people. Like I'm like the wheels are turning. I'm doing this metabolic challenge where like I have the triple stack. We're gonna start there. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. You save 123. Like, come on, let's go. And just having those conversations. I have some people that are ordering next week, but it's setting that intention that we deserve what we deserve in the work that we put in. And what I dealt with this week, I could have easily said, you know what, I got to wash my hands of it, and like I could have really fully pulled back. And I'm not going to cry today because I did that yesterday. Today's a new day, and I could only account for the help that I give, and I know that that had nothing to do with me, but in that moment, it's like you want to understand what happened and you want to help, but like sometimes you just can't, and it's okay to have that space, and I have to bless and release. And if she comes back to me, and it's just I'm very excited. I'm very happy to be part of this community because there would have been a time where I would have pulled back and not have been on that call to share how I was feeling. Like it's easier for me to retreat and hide and to go back to those old habits. But I showed up, and like I constantly hear from people like how I used to always hide behind the sidelines and not really show myself. Like I'm here. I'm 100% here. I know what I deserve. I know what I'm valued, and we have so much to give here, and all we have to do is share, and give ourselves grace. And I'm giving myself grace. And today's a new day. And every day I'm just grateful for what I've been able to do to transform my life, not just my health, but my life.
Yeah,
So,
it's so powerful. Because I would think in all of this, Renee, it, lots of people say, well, I don't have time to do this stuff, but you live with great intention on it.
mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm,
even going through all that, you're still like, I'm gonna do it. My intention
yeah.
and my purpose is greater. And you're not now, let me ask you this. Could you a couple of years ago, would it have knocked you out and said, okay, I'm done, right? So what if
I had that thought for a moment though,
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
because
And so
that's
then
old thinking.
that thought came in. What did you do differently this time versus any other time?
I showed up.
Mhm. Yeah. You didn't let that thought derail you from your purpose.
No.
And it was a choice, right? Like it didn't just,
Yeah.
it wasn't like one of those things like it just happened on, like you had to choose in that moment which direction you wanted to go.
Yeah.
And that's the power of all this, right? Like it comes
Mhm.
down to we all have a choice in all of this. We just oftentimes think that life just comes at us and we have no choice in it. But what we're doing is we're recognizing the choice that we have and we're taking back control. There's a lot of things we
Yeah.
can't control, but we do get to control how we respond to it. You controlled how you responded to it, and you said, I'm going to live with intention and I'm going to walk it out and not get derailed. It was a choice
Yeah.
you made.
But I did struggle with the thought, that
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
say, because
Mm-hmm.
that's the old habit. That's the old trigger, you know.
Yeah.
So,
And it's creating awareness. You were aware of it too, to go, okay, I know that this is what I would normally do. So now I'm more aware. And I think that's the part of walking with intention. Naturally, awareness comes into play. You
mhm.
have to become aware of past patterns and past triggers and things like that in order to continue to walk things forward. It's the natural part of things. And so
Yeah.
that's so awesome.
I've just had so much growth, and I have you to thank and this community. Like, I just love it, and I'm
You
glad that I've taken the step in like going to the events to meet you guys in person, because old me would have not done that either. So that's a big step for me. So thank you.
thank you so much, Renee. Oh, I just love you. You're
And
amazing.
by the way, I just wanted to tell you everything is good here on the home front with what I told you about. So it's going
Good.
really good there.
Oh,
So
that's so awesome. I
yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Because
So
that's part of the ripple effect, Renee.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
you're living with intention, it ripples into your
yeah,
family
yeah,
and things change.
yeah.
Oh, I love it.
It's
Oh,
it's
so
great. So thank you. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you too. Thank you. Okay, Joe, I would love to hear from you, sweet friend.
All right. Hello, hello. I was excited when you said Ephesians, because I'm studying Ephesians right now, and and this kind of ties in the beginning of chapter 3. It says, "For this reason, I, Paul, the prisoner of Christ Jesus, for the sake of you Gentiles," and I'm just going to stop right there, because Paul was under house arrest there, yet he wasn't complaining about it. He wasn't saying, "Oh, poor me," and he wasn't like just sitting there twiddling his thumbs. He was still working with intention toward what God put on his heart. And man, what an example! What an example of being in having intention and for something. Yeah, he knew why he was there, and he knew God was still in control. Even though things look dark right there, God was still in control. God knows perfectly well what he was doing. So he lived in intention and continued on doing what he was supposed to do. And the other part of that kind of makes me laugh and kind of blows me away is God picked Paul to go to the Gentiles. Now here's Paul, the Pharisee of Pharisees, that as Jewish as you can get, and God sends him to the Gentiles. I can imagine I can imagine him say, when God gave him that on his heart, you're going to the Gentiles. Paul was like, wait a second, the Gentiles. So that's just another little part of that kind of always blew me away. So yeah, living with intention.
It's
Thank
so
you for that.
powerful. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. Yeah, Ephesians is just amazing. And you think about it, like the biggest world changers lived with intention. Like
Yeah.
until we shift and start living with intention, things are just going to float on by. We're just
Mhm.
going to float through life. But in order to change and make a difference in this world, you have to be different. And
Yeah.
that's starting with intention. So thank you, Joe. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you, sweet friend. Okay, Stephanie Dunn, I'd love to hear from you, sweet friend.
Good morning. Thank you, Alesha. This was amazing. I love this because that is something I struggle with. like you, I was like, I get those little hiccups and I'm like, I'm just going to go into bed and watch my favorite show or and it was like sometimes you do have to give yourself a day off, right? Like cuz I literally work 7 days a week here. I'm always doing something here with Trinot because I love it so much. But I wanted to share cuz with intention I am trying very hard cuz my background I studied in natural health. I've studied in Chinese medicine. I've studied in natural energies and stuff like we've talked about before, and it's been like my passion because I know how it works and this business how it will connect with it and how it will benefit people so much. And one of the things I'm working on is it's called a quantum biofeedback, which I studied a long time ago. Like I looked into it and it was like, no, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. And, you know, and I'm listening to you here with intention, right? Because there's, like you say, there's roadblocks, you know, it's like, even if you have your goal and your dream, I've got my vision board, I've got things on there, and certain ones will pop up and it succeeds, right? I'm like, yes, yes, yes. But you also have to be kind of that way when it doesn't work out. You know, like I was expecting to have this started last month. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go. And it was like, what do you mean you said no? And then you get defeated. And then you're like, oh, well, maybe this isn't it. But it was like, I'm listening to you here and I thought, oh, you know, it's the same thing with Sarah. Yes, I think it was yesterday. It's like, oh, somebody is trying to tell you, don't give up. Be patient. I am the most impatient person I think I know. It's like if it's not happening right now, I'm like, oh, it's not supposed to happen. No, don't think that way. Don't think that way. And I'm listening to you today. I love your meetings, Sarah. I love it. Every time I see you on there, I'm like, oh, quick, gotta jump on. Because I just love it. You just always nail it. And you always just bring that gold to the community, to everybody. I'm going to say community because we're not even on the same team, right? But we are on the same team. And I'm so grateful for that because, you know, sometimes we just need that shot in the arm that it's not just because it's a no, doesn't mean no, it means not right now. Just wait, persist, be intentional. So I'm going to be very intentional today, and just focus on what I can do and not what I can't do at the moment. So I just wanted to say thank you so much. You're, as always, that ray of sunshine. I'm so glad you got your glasses back on. I love those. And yeah, thank you, my friend. You're just beautiful. Love you.
Oh, I love you too, Stephanie Dawn. I am so grateful for you. And I think that's the power of just all this is like how what we learn through this and we all get to walk through it together, right? Like we're not meant to do this on our own because we are going to come against those hurdles. We're going to come against those things. And sometimes we also just need people to come alongside us, go, hey, you got this. Keep on pushing. The other thing that I know, you guys, is when you begin, because we come in and go, oh, I just don't have time for this. There's so much going on in my life. What I will tell you is this as well. The more you are intentional and the more you are lining up your intention with your purpose, things begin to fall off and time frees up differently. It truly does, because you begin to realize that so much of your busyness does not align with your purpose. And so you have to be, as you live with intention, you're going to come, it's going to it's going to, at some point, there's going to be some friction that you're going to experience between things that don't line up with your purpose and things that do, and the intention with it. And if you're not willing to get rid of some of that, it's not going to work and you're going to get discouraged. And that hurdle is going to be really big. So you have to go back and go, okay, how does this line up with my intention and my purpose? And if it doesn't, I have to be willing to let it go, because you're switching your momentum, and intention requires that. So just be aware of that things you will have to let things go in order to take other things on that line with your purpose, or you're going to constantly be battling and you're going to get so discouraged and you will give up. So I love you, Stephanie Dawn. Thank you. Okay, Lynn, I want to hear from you. I know you had your hand raised.
I was just going to say, I know this year there has been so much happening in my life, but letting God take over and be in control, I am more at peace with things. And when something comes up, I don't, I could have let everything just fall apart, but I didn't. I kept going. I kept moving on and kept working at it. And yeah, I'm more at peace with everything now. And I'm looking forward to the holidays. There will be some changes, but I'll be okay. And I will figure out ways to take care of everything else.
Yeah.
And I know he'll be there for me. And you
Yeah.
and I've talked about this and that. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you, but I also wanted to show you, I did put it in there. I don't know if you could see this.
Oh, studies show that people who decorate for the holidays early are happier. I so agree with that.
A friend of mine posted that, and my grandson says, "See, Grandma."
I agree with that. Like 100%. I think this is the happiest I've been for Christmas in a long time. Yeah, I am celebrating it for a long time. I so agree with that. Thanks for sharing. Angie, I would love to hear from you, sweet friend.
Hey, so, you're talking about intention, right? And during this, I was reminded that my word of the year was surrender. And it comes and goes in my mind, like, am I surrendering? And just listening to you, I've been doing a million things listening to this today. And I thought about that. And I thought about how I've been surrendering because of things that God was leading me to do. And I realized that in that, I was surrendering to Him. And like, I didn't even realize it really. It like wasn't even conscious. But like, I was just because. And it's just so cool because part of that surrender is living with intention, right? And so I just had to thank you for this because had you not been here today, I don't know when I would have been like, oh my gosh, like look at the way he's working in me. And I'm not even like consciously realizing it until I realize it. It was so cool.
One thing I want you guys, what I so appreciate, I appreciate all of you guys just sharing like how this has connected with you and how it's impacted you and how it hits right on the spot. Please understand that every single one of you has the same opportunity to change somebody else's life. Every single one of you has the same opportunity to make a difference in somebody else's life. The big thing is are you choosing to do it? Are you choosing to get uncomfortable and reaching out? Are you choosing to grow when nobody else is watching so that way you can pour into people? Are you choosing that? Like that to me is the biggest thing is that's part of, living with that intention is you have to choose, am I willing to make a difference in somebody else's life? In order to make a very powerful, impactful impact on somebody's life, you have to be growing. You have to be intentional. And the ripple effect is massive. Every single one of you can do the exact same thing. I am not special by any means. The only thing that makes me different is my yellow glasses. It's the only thing. All I want to be is God's hands and feet, right? So every one of us has that same opportunity. Use it. Be wise with it. One of the things that I'm going to start really being more intentional with is even just on my Facebook. And I always battle with this too. Like, I have so many things I want to share, and I know I still need to share about Trinot stuff, and I go back and forth, and it's this constant battle, and I'm still trying to figure it out. I haven't figured it out yet. When I do, I'll let you guys know. But one of the things that God now is really wanting me to dive into is a lot more dropping nuggets of growing, of really digging into Him. I had to make a conscious effort to really go, like I've always been very vocal about my relationship with the Lord, but to really dig into it, to actually go, I'm going to really be intentional with it, right? Because I know that God keeps showing me more of my purpose as I dig into Him. So He's going to, as like all the things that have shifted in my life over the last couple of years is because I've been intentional, because I've been seeking Him. I've been really getting more grounded in Him. It's the things that go on behind the closed doors where I have this like constantly open, where I have worship music playing, where I'm talking to mentors in my life that are helping me grow, and they're challenging my thoughts, and they're really encouraging me in growth and all that kind of stuff. So as you say, I'm going to be intentional, I'm going to grow into my purpose, part of that is making sure that you are growing you, that you are really digging in and growing. Because it's not just like, you can't just all of a sudden go, oh, I'm going out and now I got this. Like, no. You might have to do a little bit growing. And for me, I had a lot of growing I needed to do. The cool thing is in a lot of this stuff, we think, oh, it's going to take forever. So then we get discouraged and don't do it. You get to choose the pace that you go at. You truly do. I believe this 100%, that you get to choose the pace. So if you are frustrated because you are not growing as fast as you want to grow, guess what the hurdle is? You. So choose today to know your purpose, to walk it out with intention, and to grow fast. Time is wasting when you, going back to Ephesians, and then we're going to wrap this up, when you make the most of every opportunity and you serve wholeheartedly, when you do those two things, I will tell you, it's like you will get into almost a quantum leap in shifts. So if you are wanting it to change fast, you got to do it, and you got to go all in and watch how every single thing in your life experiences a shift. It will not just be one thing. Everything will be ripple effect from it. Okay, with that being said, let's end this in prayer and let's go about our day and be intentional. Yes, Lynn?
Yeah, don't know if you had seen on here, but I think it's Christine Fisher had been on, and that she was in a car accident this morning and on the freeway because it was snowing. And I know she was heading to her sister's in Bismarck. So I don't know if it was then or not, but she said she's okay. So I'm hoping
Oh, I'm
that,
so glad you, thank you for mentioning that, Lynn. I think I saw like the tail end of things, but I didn't see the other stuff.
Right,
So
right.
thank you. I'm so glad you said that. I'll actually even reach out to her too. So let's do this. Let me, as I wrap up in prayer, we'll pray for Christine as well. Because yeah, I'm sure she's going to go see her sister. Her sister is final stages with cancer. So it's been a very trying time. So you guys definitely be praying for her
And
and her family.
real quick, I'm going to throw out a shout
Yes,
out.
Kim.
So we have a collab lab with Stephanie and Brock Heath right after this at the top of the hour, so 10 a.m. Eastern, and then a opportunity presentation with Amanda Hyder and I at 1 p.m. Eastern, and then Patty Woodyard is doing a collab lab at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Eastern. So look for all the graphics and the Zoom links in Legacy Makers or Telegram chat.
Yes, thank you, Kim. I appreciate you. I always forget. I get so excited and then I forget to mention that stuff. And I will tell you guys, Stephanie and Brock Heath, they are they're rock stars. In fact, they just had an event. They live in Ohio, and they had what they put on called the Lift Expo. And one of their main speakers was Ray Higdon. And so Brock and Ray are good friends, and Ray Higdon has actually done some of Brock's leadership retreats and things like that. So they definitely come in with some really powerful insight. He is a renowned leader. In fact, was at one point top 100 rising leaders for John Maxwell and things like that. So seize that opportunity. I would definitely suggest it. And then of course, you get Kim and Amanda together, and they're fabulous for our opportunity presentations. And Patty is just a rock star as well. So we are so blessed with all the leaders here. If you are a leader here, it doesn't matter the rank. If you're a leader here, you need to also be hosting these too. So in the collab labs, I challenge you guys to do that. Or if you want to help ever co-lead the Rise and Thrive with me, please message me. I would love to have people jump in and push and grow. And so yeah, super excited. Okay, let's end this with prayer. God, thank you that we can come together and we can laugh, we can share stories, and we can also just grow with each other. God, we are not meant to do life alone, but we are meant to do it with others. We're meant to encourage and help each other rise up to who you created us to be. God, I ask that you help each one learn how to live with intention. I pray that every single person today experiences an opportunity to be able to choose intention, that they so clearly come to that hurdle and they get to choose and they realize it's an opportunity and begin that huge paradigm shift as they look at life full of opportunities and no longer negative, that they can see the purpose that you've created them for. They can walk it out with intention, and they get to have a huge ripple effect on every single person around them. God, you've created us for so much more. May we step into that purpose. God, I just ask that you be with Christine and even Alan as they're processing the wreck and also trying to get to Bismarck. I just ask that you open the doors miraculously, that you provide a way for them to get there, that it ends up working out, and that they get to see your hands in all of it. Thank you for keeping them safe. I also ask that you just be with Christina as she just loves on her sister, and that she can just be present and be intentional in those moments. God, thank you that we can just come to you and that we can rest in you. And God, just like you said in Ephesians, that you are our peace. That even when life is not making sense, when chaos is all around us, that we can still have peace that passes all understanding because we rest in you and you alone. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, guys, have a great weekend, a great day. I love you all so much. Thanks for being on here, you guys. See y'all later.